A global and intra-European open gate is needed. Geoeconomics of trade flows. The cumulative data on the cost for Italian companies and transit logistics hubs due to transit difficulties in the planet's maritime chokepoints show heavy and competitive increases, to the point of making them a deglobalizing factor with serious financial impact if not corrected. The projected scenario of economic damage affects not only Italy, but the entire European export/import environment and beyond, including intra-European transit difficulties at Alpine crossings. Therefore, a remedy in the form of freedom of transit at both the pan-European and global levels appears urgent. Obviously, at the global level the issue is conditioned by tariffs, but a priority for logistical fluidity is also emerging. The global projection of the European and Italian economy requires an equally global open gate instrument. The issue is delicate because it implies the defense of freedom of navigation with possible military means, Hormuz, Bab el Mandeb, the Taiwan Strait, etc., but its international legal basis is extremely strong, freedom of navigation, a UN principle. Put simply, the EU's global economic projection implies a direct security engagement for freedom of navigation wherever it is threatened, tariff blocked, or interrupted. For reasons of scale, the EU should promote a global open gate (GOG) alliance starting at the G7 level plus the nations with which it has customs agreements and, in my view, prepare with these allies a rapid diplomatic/military intervention procedure for unblocking purposes. I hope for a reconvergence between America and its allies both in the Pacific and in the Atlantic for this mission. There are precursor signals that make the recommendation to accelerate such a new framework of reciprocal economic security realistic. Even the de-tariffed European environment needs a new agreement on logistical fluidity. The costs of transit difficulties at Alpine crossings and elsewhere reach hundreds of millions per year, with a risk of spillover effects amounting to billions when including port economy dynamics. Recently, the relevant sector associations have highlighted a realistic concept. The problem is not bilateral between Italy, Austria, France, and Switzerland, but concerns the European free transit corridors, both north/south, from the Arctic to Malta, and west/east, from Lisbon to Kyiv, which pass through Italy. Therefore, it is an issue to be resolved at the EU and associated nation level, probably by structuring both the Schengen Agreement and the EU single market framework in a more fluidity-enhancing way. How? One possible option is the creation of an intra-European open gate, IOG, where the management of transit corridors and the conditions for their smooth viability are transferred to a European authority equipped with its own budget, derived from proportional national contributions, to reduce, through interventions and investments, the physical, political, and cultural barriers to intra-European connectivity. For example, the politically contested Calabria/Sicily Bridge, which is essential for the north/south Euro corridor, should fall under IOG management harmonized with that of the Italian national authorities and the two regions involved.